Good evening. My name is Tracy Craig, and this is Alameda County Environmental Health Department's community meeting for the 7210 Bancroft Avenue site in East Oakland. John, next slide, please. Can you go through and John, we do have Spanish interpretation, and John Pramani will take you through that.
Yeah, so if you would like to listen to the meeting in Spanish, you can click on the globe icon, the interpretation icon. It should be at the bottom of your screen. If you're participating on Zoom on your phone, you might have to click on the three dots to find that interpretation feature. Once there, you can choose between English or Spanish audio. And then if you want, you can choose to mute the original audio. I will go ahead and let the Spanish interpreters now relay that information in Spanish.
Do we have Spanish interpreters ready?
We should.
Yeah. I think, is she muted, perhaps?
Oh, 1 second.
Las
There we go.
instrucciones, si
Perhaps
desean
you could
escuchar
ask
la
them to
reunión,
start over again, John.
si desean escuchar la reunión en español, verán que en los controles del Zoom, en la parte inferior de la pantalla, van a encontrar el botón de un globo terráqueo. Allí pueden hacer clic y luego hacer clic en el idioma que desean escuchar. Si están participando desde un celular, tienen que ir a los 3 puntos, hacer clic allí y allí verán un menú contextual donde podrán elegir inglés, español y también la posibilidad de silenciar el audio original.
Thank you. Okay, next slide, John, please. So again, my name is Tracy Craig. I'll be moderating tonight's meeting. This is Alameda County Environmental Health Department's community meeting to discuss the proposed environmental cleanup of the 7210 Bancroft Avenue site in East Oakland. This is our agenda for this evening, and we'll have introductions, do a quick site overview, talk about the documents that are out for public comment right now from May 3rd to June 3rd, 2024. Talk about measures that will be taken to make sure the community's health is protected during this work, communications, and then we'll talk about the schedule. And then the most important part, we'll open it up for questions and answers from the public. A couple things. This is a webinar. That means that our attendees do not have audio or visual feed. We do want to hear from you though. So if you'd like to ask a question at any time during the presentation or during the question and answer period, you can raise your virtual hand and we will unmute you. You can also use the question and answer box. First of all, I'd like to introduce the regulatory agencies that are providing oversight of this project. With us tonight is from Alameda County Environmental Health Department is Dylan Rowe. Dylan is the Chief of Land and Water Protection. And then also tonight we have Noel Liner with us, and he's the case manager for Environmental Health Department. A couple other agencies that oversee this work. We have the Water Resources Board from San Francisco, City of Oakland, and the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. I do want to pause on the Air District's role during the construction itself. If there's an odor complaint, you can always call me. My number will be out there, but you can also call the Air Quality Management District. Next slide, please. And then tonight as well, we have the owner and remediation or cleanup team. So representing the owners is Tracy Sandra Thomas, and she works for 7200 Bancroft Avenue in Palm Peninsula. And then we don't have anybody from Phillips 66, but the environmental consultant doing this work for the owner is Antea Group, and we have Jonathan Zimdars and Bernadette Flemher. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Did I pronounce it correctly? I did. Okay. With us. And then, of course, we have Tracy Craig. I'm moderating the meeting. And with me is John Pramani. He's running all the technical stuff behind the video screen. Okay.
Hey, Tracy. Yeah. I'm having a hard time hearing you. I don't know if it's anybody else, but you're pretty soft spoken on my end. Is everybody else hearing you okay?
That's unusual. Okay, I'll turn up my volume. How's that sound? Better?
That's better. Yep, better.
Okay. I'll
Yep.
put my face right up there. Thank you for telling me. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
If anybody didn't hear that that's attending or what I said, please feel free to just type it in the question and answers and we'll go through that again. But I think it was fairly self-evident with the slides, what we were discussing. Okay, once again, the site location is at the corner of 73rd and Bancroft Avenue in East Oakland. It's noted there with the blue circle blob and says site. And then I'm going to turn this over to Dylan right now to give a site overview and discuss the proposed cleanup plans, and then she'll hand it back to me.
Great. Thanks, Tracy. Good evening, everybody. So we're just going to run through what the cleanup plan is that's proposed at the site. And I'll start with giving you a site overview. This site has had a lot of history on it. It used to be part of a Chevron Motor Company assembly facility for many years, and then was followed up with a gas station from 1966 to 2014 when it was demolished. The site is now a vacant lot. During the kind of history of the gas station, there's been multiple replacements of underground storage tanks, and this kind of runs through it. In 1984, there were 3 tanks replaced and a 4th one added. There was some removal of impacted soil, petroleum impacted soil in 1989. And then in 1998, 4 USTs were replaced. The ones that were there were replaced with new USTs. And then in 2014, the gas station closed and all the USTs, dispenser islands, piping, station building was removed. Again, some soil was removed during the UST removals. And the site is currently fenced off and has been fenced off since 2014 and is somewhat gravel and dirt across the site. Next slide. So environmental investigations have been going on sporadically over a long period of time here, from 1989 when the leaking underground storage tank case was opened until 2023. And those investigations included collection of soil and groundwater and soil vapor data samples and laboratory analysis to evaluate the extent of the contamination from the releases from the UST infrastructure. The results of those investigations indicate that the soil, groundwater, and soil vapor, which is gas between the soil particles, we can talk about that more if you have questions, have been impacted both on and off site. Next slide. So there have been a lot of years of proposed corrective actions at this site. And I will say that if you do go onto the case file on GeoTracker, it's confusing because of so many different proposals. But we have finally reached a proposal that we believe will achieve the objectives to clean up the petroleum in accordance with the state water board's low threat closure policy. And the gist of those documents are in these 3 documents here, something called the JET Meeting Technical Summary. That's a really good document, February 15th, that gives an outline of what this remediation is going to be. There's something before that called an updated alternatives evaluation, and then one other letter or document. There are many other documents, again, in the case file, but these are the 3 that support the actions that are summarized in this February 15th summary. And the proposed cleanup actions are to remove contaminated soil, which is the source of the impacts to groundwater and soil vapor, and remedial plans. So actual plans and specifications will be submitted to environmental health on June 10th. That will provide the specifics for the contractors on how they will implement the work and what community protection measures will be implemented during the work. And we're having this meeting right now in the middle of a public comment period on the proposed corrective actions. However, any public comments on the remedial plans that will be submitted on June 10th will be considered by ACDH prior to our final approval and implementation of the work. Next slide, please. So this is kind of what you're going to see. This is going to be soil remediation and excavation by a big drill rig. And they're going to be, in order to get ready for the excavation, there were a lot of groundwater monitoring wells and soil vapor probes, which are infrastructure that we use to collect groundwater data and soil vapor data over the years. They have been destroyed. There's a few of them left that will be destroyed during the excavation. And a lot of soil is coming out. 2,500 tons of contaminated soil is coming out of the site. And there's going to be a drill rig that basically is going to be drilling down in 56 locations to a maximum depth of 35 feet to remove this contaminated soil. The soil will be put in trucks, loaded into trucks, and disposed of offsite at a licensed disposal facility. And then as each hole is drilled, they will be backfilled with cement. And then we'll move to the next, they will move to the next hole. Work hours are Monday through Friday, 7 to 7, and Saturdays, 8:30 to 6. And this is in accordance with the City of Oakland's approved construction hours.
Dylan, I just have a quick question. And John, can you go back? Is there a reason that you're drilling out instead of just doing regular excavation here?
So that's a good question. The reason that we are going down with doing excavation with a drill rig is to get that deep. Regular excavation with a big excavation and an excavator with an arm typically doesn't go deeper than 15, maybe 20 feet. So this is to get contamination that is pretty deep at this site. So those 56 holes are going to be inside that green area. That's where the bulk of contamination is. There is other contamination at this site, but removal of this area is what will qualify it for closure under the low threat closure policy. The state of California has a policy that does not require all contamination to be removed from a site, but removal of contamination that then qualifies it for a low risk site based on criteria that the state has come up with. So this is the excavation area. Next, and you can see the site boundary here. So this is a good figure, kind of puts it where it is, Bancroft and 73rd. Next slide. I'm gonna hand this over to Tracy because she's going to be the contact for you if there is complaints or any concerns during this work, which is going to take 4 to 6 weeks. A lot of activity is going to be going on here. Drilling of the soil on site, loading it up onto trucks, stockpiling it, managing it, bringing in trucks with a lot of slurry. There's going to be a lot of traffic going on in and out of this site. And so we are requiring a lot of community protection measures to protect the community that lives in the vicinity of this site. And so Tracy, I'm going to have you run through it, but Tracy is a reachable person. Her name is going to be on these signs, and if you have a complaint, she will distribute those complaints to the appropriate people, including me and my staff, so that we can take prompt action. So Tracy, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Sure. So protecting air quality, very important during this work, and we'll be monitoring air in a couple ways. So the first way we'll be doing it is real-time air monitoring. So that means at the site of the drilling, we'll have somebody with a handheld device taking measurements of air to make sure that any of the dust, the levels of contaminants in their petroleum products don't exceed what is known to be healthy for people, to be safe for human health. And the second way we'll be doing it is having fixed air monitoring stations, both downwind and upwind, on the fence line of the property. And those results are reported to Alameda County Environmental Health Department. We'll also be monitoring wind direction and speed, and doing that throughout the duration of the work. Most importantly, if any of those action levels are reached or exceeded, we'll stop work, figure out what additional controls need to be taken to make sure that no dust is leaving the site. Anything you want to add to that, Dylan?
Nope, that's an important piece, and we're going to ask everybody to be doing this work and making sure that dust is and air quality is being taken care of.
And then in addition, other ways that we'll make sure that the community is protected is there are a variety of best management practices that will be employed during this work. So as we mentioned before, we have the drill rig that's going down that will afford us greater control than if we were just excavating. We'll also be direct loading into trucks, make sure that the biggest way that we're going to keep dust down is really using water on the site. So we want to make sure the site is damp at all time. We also might expect that we might have some odors because these petroleum products have been in the ground for quite some time. So we might have what we call nuisance odors, which is a fleeting odor, but can be bothersome to people. So I would say if you smell a nuisance odor and it's longer than a short amount of time, please give me a call. My number will be on the fence line. I'm going to ask John to put it in the chat box right now. My cell phone, I answer it all the time. If you smell something, you can always call us and we'll up our measures to mask or control those odors. We will cover all stockpiles and make sure that those are wet. So a stockpile is simply when you're storing soil on site. So we'll make sure those stockpiles are damp and that they're covered when they're not in use. We'll make sure that when we leave the site that any trucks are clean and they're not tracking out dirt onto city streets. And then we will store the groundwater on site temporarily during the excavation and then haul it off site when we're done. And then these are just pictures. So the one on top is just direct loading soil into a truck, and you can see that water's being sprayed on it, so it's not dusty. Below to the left is a stockpile that's covered and secured with old tires to make sure it's covered with plastic to make sure it doesn't blow around. And then here there's the blue thing that the truck is driving over, just strips that shake the truck so that the undercarriage, any dirt that's adhering to them will just shake off and the truck will be clean exiting the site. And so another important thing is truck management. You can probably read most of this slide, but most importantly for people here, we will be following a city-approved traffic control plan and route. Trucks waiting will be loaded, but they'll be staged in the parking lot adjacent to the site. They won't be allowed to idle for too long, so they don't impact air quality. Trucks won't be allowed to park on residential streets. And as I said before, they'll be cleaned before leaving the site to prevent dirt track out, and we'll regularly monitor trucks to make sure that they're in good working order. And this is our truck route. So in the lower right is the site, and you can see that it will go up, and I believe that would be, is that north? North? No. Which way is that? Somebody help me out for it is north. North.
Yeah, I think it's north.
Yeah, north towards the I-80. So you'll see there'll be a couple dog legs there, but it's a pretty straightforward route. And that again is approved by the city of Oakland. And then communication. So the site contact, there'll be a site contact. That will be me. My name is Tracy Craig. That will be your #1 contact if you have any kind of questions, concerns, want to know what's going on. I'm available. I'll be in close touch with the construction team and can call them immediately if there's some kind of issue. We'll also be issuing a work notice to let people know that the work is starting and what to expect during that work. And we'll issue that 5 days in advance of the work, and that will go out in both Spanish and English. And then all the environmental reports, air monitoring results, and fact sheets, work notice are all on the Water Board's GeoTracker database that Alameda County shares. And we'll have a link to that shown in the next slide. Oh, well, in the next slide after that. So here's our schedule. Right now, as we said, we're in the public comment period on the cleanup documents. We would like the final public comments from people on June 3rd. We'll be issuing a response to comments, and what that is simply a document that responds to all the comments received and shows how they were considered in making a final decision on approving the cleanup plans for the site or having them be modified.
Hey,
Again,
Tracy, just as a, because the actual plans are not gonna be submitted till June 10th, and the scheduled start date is July 15th, we will be accepting comments on the plans, through June, if somebody wants to see the actual plans and has comment on them.
okay,
Okay,
sure. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
So we'll be taking comments on both the plans and the work, the plans and specs, Dylan, did I get that right?
yep, the plans and specs, yep.
Okay, through June, if people are interested. And probably those might be a little bit easier to read than the actual plans themselves. Again, we'll issue a work notice prior to the work starting so people can plan accordingly. Work will last is it about 6 weeks or 8 weeks? 2 months?
I think 4 to 6 weeks is what we are anticipating based on
Okay.
discussions today. Yep.
Okay, and then the communications, of course, are ongoing. Okay, so if you'd like to provide comments on these documents, or if you just have questions that you'd like asked, again, we're going to be accepting comments through June. All the documents are available on the GeoTracker website, and there is a link right there that shows you how to get to it. And then again, for comments or questions, you can email me. My email is down there, or you can call me at 510-334-4866. I also know how to text, so you can text me as well. And I believe that actually concludes our presentation, if I'm not mistaken. So we do have one attendee. What I would like to say before we open it up for any comments is that this has been recorded, and this will also be uploaded. This video will be uploaded to GeoTracker. And I hope I pronounced your name right. I can certainly allow you to talk. I'm happy you're here. And is your name Ale? Is that correct? You can, Ale, you're unmuted and free to talk to us, please. And I'll promote him or her. Okay. I promoted Ale to a panelist, so maybe that will make it easier to ask a question.
Hello?
Or maybe, oh, is it Allie? I'm thinking maybe your name is Allie.
It's Alice. Sorry, I'm on
Okay.
my Chromebook and
Hi, nice to meet you. We're glad you're here. How can we answer
Okay.
any questions you may have?
Yeah, I just thanks for the presentation for one, I guess. I just have two questions. One is the noise level. Like there wasn't any conversation, any slides about the noise level and the traffic impact.
Okay, Dylan?
Yeah, so the construction, which this is considered, is construction noise has to comply with the City of Oakland's noise ordinance. And they are responsible for implementing that. But if you are hearing noise, because it's not kind of my jurisdiction, but we want to make sure that this goes smoothly. And so if you have concerns about noise, I would say please contact Tracy, right? And she can contact the City of Oakland to have them come out and make sure that they are in compliance with the noise ordinance and the decibels. Because that is a condition of construction. The other one is there will be, I think there will be minimum traffic impacts because the trucks, there's going to be a lot of trucks coming in and out. There will be some impacts, no doubt. There's a lot of trucks. I don't know, Jonathan, do you know how many trucks are coming in and how many trucks are coming out on this site?
Yeah, as far as excavations go, this one will be focused and it won't be continuous. I would anticipate, approximately 9 loads of cement or concrete per day, and approximately a similar number of trucks hauling soil to the landfill. And those will be on a loop. So there might be 2 trucks doing a loop to the landfill, you're making 2 or 3 runs per day. So typically, there'd be a period of loading 2 or 3 trucks. They'll be gone for several hours. We'd load 2 or 3 trucks. They'll be gone for several hours. And then after the morning's excavation work, the excavated boreholes will be filled in the early to mid afternoon during a concrete truck run. So there'll probably be 3 runs of 3 concrete trucks that would come and fill in the excavated areas.
And
So it
those
won't be
truck-
like a case of trucks constantly going all day from start of work to end of work. It won't be like that. It'll be very focused.
And they will have a traffic control plan, right, Jonathan? That is part of your grading permit that the city of Oakland, again, is responsible for overseeing. So again, though, if you have concerns, if there's something that it just is concerning to you, please contact Tracy, right? So we can just make sure that we keep this going smoothly.
And one last question, I'm sorry. My son has
Oh,
asthma, so that's
yeah.
why I'm
Yeah.
one of the reasons I'm here. But where are the air quality levels? Are they posted somewhere on a daily basis, or?
You know, we haven't actually given the final approval on the plans and specs, right? Because we're waiting to get those. But typically what we do ask for when we have air monitoring going on is we do ask for a weekly status update that shows, you know, what those levels are. And if there are exceedances, there's notifications when those exceedances are happening, if it needs to stop work. But we don't have plans to have them in real time, Ali, because there's some interpretation that you have to do with air monitoring results. You're looking at upwind and downwind, and but there will be status updates on a weekly basis saying that they're complying with their air monitoring plan. Again, though, if you're feeling or if you have concerns, right? If it feels like, and I don't have asthma, but I am very sensitive to diesel. My lungs say, wow, there's diesel happening here. And so if you guys are feeling that, if your son is feeling that, if you're noticing that, please contact Tracy. They are what we call nuisance odors, but again, nuisance odors can be very problematic or feel very problematic to somebody with asthma or somebody like me that's very sensitive to gasoline kind of odor. So again, we're hoping that we do not have those issues. But if you are experiencing them or your son is experiencing them, please contact Tracy, and we will look into it and see what's going on.
Dylan, would you like to maybe give her the example of the other large diameter auger project that we had in downtown Livermore?
Well, that's a very good. All we can say, what Noel is talking about is, we had a very similar project in downtown Livermore in an a very small, extremely busy area that had stores all the way around it and a lot of public out there. And they were successful at not having complaints. And so that's what I'm going to hope for with this.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if I guess I can go also on the public comment geo tracker, and I can also kind of to be mindful of the sensitivities and how the levels can vary from different humans. Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate the answer. Thank you.
Yeah, and when there's not documents there yet, so if you're interested in that, look on June 10th. They will be uploaded to GeoTracker, the actual real specifics of what's going to go on, and then we'll be reviewing that and giving comments. So there should be some more data and more information for you to understand how this is going to be dealt with. Okay.
Now, I'm assuming that you live in the area, correct? Right across the street or nearby?
Yeah, I'm on Halliday, one street over.
Okay, so our goal really here is that no dust really gets off the side or no anything really small. The screening levels that we're looking at are designed to be very protective of fragile populations, which your son would be considered one, being both young and asthmatic. So that's really our goal. But I am more than happy to, if anything happens, if you're concerned, call me anytime. I'll respond immediately. Okay?
Great,
Right.
thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Any other questions? All right.
Nope.
Okay. Then you got my phone number, correct?
Yes, I have it. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, great. Then I think that concludes our presentation for tonight. So, Dylan, any closing thoughts for you?
No, we appreciate you being on the call, and if any of your neighbors, reach out to you, our goal is this thing's been there for a long time, and our goal is to make this run smoothly. There's been a lot of thought process going into this. There will continue to be a lot of thought process, and I am pretty confident that we're gonna make sure that this is done well, and protect the community while we're doing it.
Perfect. Okay, well then I'd like to thank everybody for joining, and particularly our attendee, and wish everybody a nice evening. Good night.
Night.